And good Wednesday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. A little different this morning as we're waking up, a lot better, we might say. We don't have the thunderstorms and the possibility of tornadoes right around us this morning. Makes us feel a lot better. We had some very serious weather yesterday. As we look back on that, a lot of wind damage, especially to our west as we look to our friends in Newton County and Scott County. One of the things we wanted to look at. Let me pull this up. The National Weather Service finally released this last night. And let me pull this up so you can take a look at this. It was a confirmation that there were 4 tornadoes that came through Scott and Newton County. You can go to our website at sammedia.network and take a closer look at this and look at that map there and zoom in on this. This is the travel path of that. Look at that, 110 miles an hour. It's 4.7 miles long, 300 yards wide. This could have turned out a lot differently than it did. Fortunately, as the wind died down, we didn't have any major injuries, thank goodness. We're glad over that. But did do some damage, messed up some folks' lives for a little while. But in the end, all will be well due to the fact that no loss of life happened yesterday. Very fortunate. And you say, well, we do have some storms coming in this afternoon. We'll talk about this. But it looks like this is going to be a 4 for 4. That's what we'll call it. Expected again next week, sometime between Tuesday and Wednesday, more severe weather headed back to the area. We'll know more as it gets closer. We're ways out, but it looks as though it's lining up for us to have another round. And we'll have that this afternoon. We'll really pay attention to our friends to the east of us. Alabama will probably get the worst of what's coming this afternoon. We'll get some severe storms, but you can bet the Tuscaloosa area right along in there, if you live in those, be weather alert today. Stay on your P's and Q's. It could be serious weather as we get to our east this afternoon. We'll look at where the line draws this afternoon. It should be later in the afternoon, and we'll look at all of that. So what went on overnight as you slept? That's one of the most important things, what goes on in our community. Well, a few things. Yeah, there were shots fired last night. Now, we don't have any reports of injury or anything to that nature. But we do have shots that were fired in our area along 16th Avenue, 17th Street, also 36th Avenue and 16th Street. Shots were fired. And then again, in the wee hours of the morning, right around Old Marion Apartments. 3 different occasions. Could more have happened? Yeah, but that's the only 3 that I'm aware of. Now, again, with this, no one to my knowledge was hurt. And I don't have any reports yet of damage to houses or cars. But it still happened last night as you slept. Also, we had the Meridian Fire Department had to make a run. It was a fire at a shed on the 1700 block of 16th Avenue. Just a shed, thank goodness. No one else lost their home. As we've watched here over the last few weeks with weather and things, as we saw that out in the southeast area after that last storm last week, we had a home caught fire because of lightning. So it all worked out. We're good this morning, but that's what happened overnight. As we start today, how are you? I hope you're feeling well. Glad to have you a part of this. A lot of folks up. Miss LaWanda Grantham. Need an update on Governor Phil Bryant. Is everybody paying attention to this? I'm probably not as well schooled in it as I need to be. I started paying attention last night, and I saw his name several times to where there is a tie-in with the welfare scandal that is going on across the state. Everybody up to date on this? And this does include, do you remember the Brett Favre thing where he would have to return the money? That's what all of this is about. Again, I don't know enough about it. I'm going to study up on it really good today, so I'll be well versed in it. But there were text messages in between Bryant and Brett Favre. They're tying Phil Bryant to this. As they say that he was looking for a payout. I don't know that. That's some of the headlines that are thrown out there. They say that Phil used his authority of his office, the weight of his political influence, and the power of his connection to help his friend, retired NFL quarterback Brett Favre, to boost fledgling pharmaceutical venture. Then he tried to cash in on the project when he left office, text messages show. So this could get ugly. It could get very ugly before it's over. We'll see where it goes. And again, I'm going to get well schooled on this. There might be some others that know more about it than I do at this point. But Shad White, of course, was the one that got involved in this and asked for the money back. You remember all that money from Brett Favre? And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger as we get into this. Big political scandal. we'll see where it goes. And again, I'll know more about it before long. Anybody remember, and I just didn't know the guy. This was a little bit before my time. Bobby Rydell. Anybody know him? He was a 60s teen idol and star of Bye Bye Birdie, which had Anne Margaret in it. He's passed away at the age of 79. So that had pneumonia. Died just about a few days away from his 80th birthday. As LaWanda said, it's good to know that Shad White goes after the big wheels. He does. That man ain't scared of nothing. You'll see that name more and more. Shad White does. He returns a lot of money to the state of Mississippi. Yesterday, Tate Reeves broke out an ink pen and signed in the biggest tax cut the state of Mississippi has ever seen. Everybody's reporting on this as the income tax will eventually go away. But as I've said before, as that goes away, you can bet your boots that we're going to get taxes. Most likely land taxes will be raised on a local level. It'll take the focus away from the state, and it'll throw it on the supervisors that no longer have that funding that they once did. So expect that. That's going to happen. One hand does this, the other hand does this. It sounds great until you have to pay the other taxes. Which is worse? I don't know. We'll see. As we look at this, a fatal fall in Natchez, Mississippi. This happened on the 1st. Was working on a church, fell off the roof, and was pronounced dead at the scene. A 68-year-old man died on Washington Road in Natchez. How sad that is. Always be tied off. Couldn't even be more worse than that, than trying to help the church on top of that. In Cleveland, Mississippi, a hospice doctor has been arrested and convicted of fraud when it comes to hospice care. Healthcare fraud is what that's all about. We see more and more of this stuff going across the state of Mississippi and nationwide of people doing this. Also, let's see what we've got. Rankin County, this is pretty big. The tax assessor has been arrested. Yeah, the tax assessor, Rankin County, and charged him with rape. Byron Police Chief David Arrington confirmed that John Sullivan was stopped for careless driving on March 26 at 2 a.m. Upon further investigation, it was determined that he was allegedly operating his vehicle while under the influence of alcohol. And then it went from there. This is getting serious. We'll follow this story and keep this at the top of the rankings there. That's a pretty big official to be arrested for this. And serious charge. And again, at this point, that's a charge until you're proven guilty in a court of law as we look at things going on across the state. Philadelphia, Mississippi will not, they're going to opt out on the medical marijuana. They're not going to be having that in Philadelphia. Eric Clark agrees with that also as we look at headlines that are across that. I believe Lauderdale County will be voting on that before long as well. County, city, where's it going to be? As the state has voted for medical marijuana. Statewide, that will happen, and it will be where these places can operate and do business. Again, Mississippi does not have a recreational marijuana, which is a good thing. Medical, I think most people have understood that it can be grown and treated for cancer patients and other diseases that it can help with. But we'll see how the vote goes. And you look at national headlines, and this is one of those to where, without a doubt, God does not see race. At least I don't believe so. As we look to the headlines, the Chicago church is urging its congregation to be fasting from whiteness. That's the headline this morning. Again, God does not see color of skin in any shape, form, or way. What they'll get out of this, I don't know. But that is the big headline that comes out of Chicago this morning. The First United Church of Oak Park is what they've announced to do. You can Google that and find out more about that if you'd like to know more about that. As things start heating up for Hillary, are y'all paying attention to this also? Donald Trump kept telling us that he was not guilty of any collusion with Russia. And that's all we heard for how many years? Russia, Russia, Russia. Well, they seem to have caught our lawyer in a lie. They've got text messages that ties him to a big lie where he lied to the FBI. Will it go more? Maybe we need Shad White on that level. I think he could do the federal government some good, don't y'all? Do y'all remember the guy out in San Francisco that robbed the Walgreens on a bicycle, had so many bags tied around it, and he stole everything and rode out? Well, he's finally been sentenced. He's going to get 16 months in prison for stealing. As we see America in a very odd shape right now, as we've seen over the last, since what was it, that last election, 16, as we saw 2 years ago, we saw everybody want to defund the police, and we've seen cities escalate. Walgreens in the San Francisco area has had to close store after store due to the fact that people can steal up to $1,000 and nothing is done to them. I don't care who you are, you can only lose so much money before you just can't afford to keep going. And that's the case that it is across America. You're going to see big businesses backing away from these big cities that will support these ideas that you don't have to have police. People can't get to work. People are robbed every day. It's awful in these places. You're going to see a change in November. I think people have had enough. They're going to go to the election polls. You vote how you want, how you feel, what you believe in. Whatever you do, vote. That's coming up later. Let's see. That's a quick look at headlines across America this morning of what we've got locally. We're going to look at weather in just a second. What's going to happen this afternoon with all these storms that are possibility coming up? It won't be as bad. We'll say that. But don't discount whether it is Mother Nature for what we're looking at. We'll look closely at that in just a moment. Y'all stay close.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is celebrating 21 years of business this week. A 5-pound bag of Idaho potatoes, $1.99. A 3-pound bag of yellow onions, only $1.99. Piggly Wiggly tomato ketchup, 79 cents. Piggly Wiggly cornmeal or flour, a 2-pound bag, only $1. And fresh leg quarters, a 10-pound bag, only $5.99.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're building it, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
You know, I was glancing up at the comments there, and Laura Lee made a very, very good comment this morning, and I agree with you 100%. There's nothing free but salvation in this world. But you would be shocked as to how many people just really don't understand that. As we've said, there's so many folks. We are a big community here in the Deep South, whether you're watching from Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. We all believe in the good Lord. Problem is, well, they don't always show up to church. They support the idea, but when it comes time to go to church on Sunday, you would be shocked as to how few, when you look at the population, show up and actually follow through with it. Talk a good game, but at the end of the day, you have to stand behind what you believe in. And eventually we need to work on that. Well, we do need to work on that. Pray for our communities. That's what's going to get us through this. There used to be a line of, well, crime, this and that, and people stood by their word. It's gotten to where, well, that doesn't involve me anymore. And that's how crime and bad things happen. People let their standards slip down. We can't allow that. Back what you support there. Put your money where your mouth is. Remember that old saying? There you go. Well, let's talk about weather this morning, and let's get into that and find out what's going to happen today. We want y'all safe and dry if we can all.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we pull up the map of what we look for today from the National Weather Service, it shows us that 82 is going to be the high in the Meridian area. As we look across here, Philadelphia, y'all will get to 80. And as we go northward, right up through, as we make our way to Louisville, we'll be about 79 all the way to there to Mississippi State. As we go west, Vicksburg, Mississippi to see 78. As we go south, we'll get about 81 in Brookhaven, down in Hattiesburg, a little warmer, 85. As you'll see this darker green, we expect this line to be more rain from Laurel northward through Columbus area here. Now, as we come across and we look at Alabama, here's what we've got. Showers and thunderstorms once again this afternoon. Some of them could be severe. 84 in Demopolis. Tuscaloosa will see 83. And again, this is where we're going to see the worst of the weather this afternoon. We'll look at the map here in just a moment. Fayetteville, 81 as we go to Montgomery, Alabama. 84 today and all the way toward Troy, Alabama as well. About 83 to 84 is what we're going to look at. Now, we're going to pull my map up and look at this also. This is what the National Weather Service puts out. And then we'll look in depth on my radar as to where these lines are, where the serious weather will be, where it starts, and who needs to be really, really paying attention. Now, again, as we begin this is Mother Nature. It's on the map, so we need to have a heads up no matter where you are within these lines because it can happen. All of these are imaginary lines. Mother Nature sometimes has different plans than our radar systems. As we look at this is what the National Weather Service has put out. The Meridian area is going to be under a 2. Any county here north of Clark County will hover that borders Alabama is under a 2. That's all the way to Columbus, Mississippi, from Shibuda, rather. And it pretty much divides that. Now, west of there, Philadelphia, Winston County, Newton area is going to be under a level 1. Our timing on this is going to be this afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 8 p.m. Most likely, this will be wrapping up by 6 is what we think. Now, again, this is Mother Nature. It can change a little bit. Now, let's go over to my map and pull this up where everybody can get a look here of what we've got today with the weather. As we pull up the weather, all of this gray area right here, that's a dense fog advisory. And as we see from Huntsville all the way to Columbus, Georgia, a lot of fog on the ground already this morning. So be careful in those areas. Now, let's turn on our severe weather. Where is it going to happen today? Here's the outlook of what we've got. This line here, this dark green, is a level 1. This isn't even rated, but it'll be showers. As we zoom in on this from Jackson, Mississippi, taking in all of Newton and Neshoba County and Winston County, is that level 1. As we get through here, as we said, you get down in here from, right along Hattiesburg east of there, and you go to Loosedale and these areas, right around Shibuda northward. Now let's turn on these lines and look at where the line will divide. It nearly takes in all of Clark County. Enterprise, y'all are going to be involved in this where severe storms can follow this. Parts of Highway 11 there will miss this, the Pachuta area, supposedly. Now again, don't think for a minute that he couldn't start here at Lake Edens and get a little bit worse and come across, but at this point, we're showing that the Lake Edens area and west will be a level 1. As we look at all of this area here in Clark County, that if you are east, anywhere east of the Dollar General toward Alabama line, you're involved in this. As we go up here into Lauderdale County, it will pretty much start at the Stuckey Bridge area, go northward, follow about where the prison is there, just barely missing Meehan, and cut right across Highway 19 and go straight toward West Lauderdale High School, again back east into Alabama, and then go into Kemper County up by the coal plant, taking in the lake, and right across where you'd go to Cypress Mills. And then on northward there into to Noxubee County, this is Highway 514, just west of here, out the outskirts of Macon and back east into there, taking in Brooksville as well. And as you get up here, Mississippi State is out of that warned area. Columbus will make it into that. So let's talk about severe weather. Where is it going to get worse? This is that 2 area, and this is where things get a little bit worse. If you live in this area here in Alabama, taking in Tuscaloosa, downtown Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, all the way over here to Savannah, Georgia, these areas here are a level 3 today. Could be some tornadic activity that happens in this. This takes in Huntsville, Alabama, Chattanooga, and as we get up here, this will be southeast of Murfreesboro. You always see a line too. Nashville will get out of this, but it does take in Chattanooga and back down through Athens, Georgia. Atlanta will be involved in this. We'll watch these areas. Now, again, with anything that deals with Mother Nature, it has a mind of its own. You can sit here and you can forecast and say, well, this is going to do that and it's going to do that. It's Mother Nature. Anywhere from Jackson, Mississippi due east, could you see severe weather this afternoon? Now, we're expecting this again anytime after lunch, 1 o'clock on. We would probably put this later in the afternoon, 4-ish, somewhere along in there. Again, everything is subject to change. We will be watching it today. We'll be posting it and telling you more about this as it comes about. It's severe weather. And again, it looks like we're probably going to have another round of this coming up next week, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. As we said, we're going to call it that old Wendy's 4 for 4. Y'all remember when they offered that? It looks like what we've got coming for next week also. We'll know more about it as it comes about. As we look at the Alabama line, this is what the National Weather Service tells us for Alabama. That's those lines we just looked at. As we look here in the Hamilton area, Tuscaloosa north of there, noon until 5. If you live in the Tuscaloosa area on the east side of that, you can expect this to be from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight. And then if you're getting down to the bottom end of Alabama there, it'll be from 2 p.m. to midnight is your time zone there. And as you look at this, damaging wind, half-total cell tornadoes possible, and that's where we were looking at this. Now, as you go back to the Meridian area here, all the way to the Demopolis, Tuscaloosa area, this yellow area, tornadoes are possible. We can see hail with that, but the threat The larger threat seems to be a little bit east of us. Again, it can still happen here. Don't rule this out. Still have yourself a weather plan. Know where you're going to go if a warning is issued. As we saw yesterday, sometimes there's not very much time given. You've got to act fast and you've got to go. So always have a plan to know where, if this happens, where I'm going. Plan ahead. It's worth your life. We all know that. As we look at temperatures, what's going to happen? Well, it looks like it's getting warmer for the state of Mississippi and Alabama as we pull this up this morning. As we show that it's warmer probability over the next 6 to 10 days here across Mississippi. And we get into the Georgia area and the Carolinas. Look at that. Hot, and hotter up the northeast. But we do have a cool spell out to our west that will probably make it here next week. As we look at our temperatures today, this is what we've got over the next 7 days. What's going to happen today? Well, we get a high of about 82. They're giving this storm a 60% chance of showers. The breakdown on that is mainly about 5 p.m. is what we're looking at. 60% chance of showers, probably 4:30 to 5 in that area getting here. It'll gradually become sunny with a high of 84, but it's going to be gusty. Keep this in mind, and over the next few days, do not burn. Gust of 25 miles an hour today as we get into tonight. Still a continued 60% chance of rain, ending by 10 o'clock is what we're looking at, with a low of about 46. A little cooler tonight, 46 to 48 there, but gust again tonight of about 20 miles an hour. We'll get into Thursday with sunshine. It'll look great, start drying things out, but we'll still have gusts of 20 miles an hour, leading into a cool 43 for a low on Thursday night. Now, as the weekend approaches, we'll get 65 on Friday, 38 there. But look at this. We got 30-mile-an-hour gust on Friday. Do not burn in any of these areas. We have the fire department showing up, and y'all have a Winnie roast. We don't want that to happen. As we get into Saturday, more of the same as we get sunshine with a high of about 67, but again, gusty, 25-mile-an-hour gust. We start seeing this chance right there. Look at that 50% chance. We're going to watch this close as we get here to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week to find out just how serious that will be. We're several days away from this, so we'll watch, we'll be careful, and let you know what becomes of it. Temperatures all the way through April the 20th. You've got them here. By Wednesday, this is when we're looking at that Tuesday, Wednesday thing, a high of 81. Then we'll see a little drop in temperatures as we saw that cold front that is out in California that's making its way our way. And it'll drop the temperatures of about 8 to 9 degrees there for a few days. As we look to the 20th of the month, that's scary, April the 20th. Boy, the month is flying by right in front of us. We're looking for a high of about 76. That's the outlook on that. So what does it hold in fishing as we head over to Chet's Painting Bodies? That Chet tells us what we can get out and fish today. It's perfect right now. 5 a.m. if you were there before daylight, it was perfect. Your second major time will be this afternoon. Might be raining, though. 5:30 to about 7:30. Might want to hold off a little while. As we look at our winds, southwest 10 to 15 today. Again, those gusts about 25 miles an hour. Some people love fishing now. Be careful. Never fish when lightning is out there. Watch all of that. We're getting ready. We got a special guest this morning coming in at 8 o'clock to be on the show with us. Miss Emily White will join us. Rumor is she's going to bring a guitar and sing a song for us. She just won a big award from the state of Mississippi. Her video. She'll be here to talk about all that. It's always great to have a local talent, and she is some kind of talented. She'll be here this morning kicking off with me and Candace at 8. I hope you'll join us. You'll really like her. If you've never met Emily, she's got a great personality, and it's easy to see why many people like her. So do that. Linda Payne, how are you? Watching us from Lauderdale this morning. Jerome Hembry is up. Lamar, how are you today? Crystal Joels, watching from the Toomsuba area. Galen Bradshaw, watching from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Let's see, Nancy Johnson, good to see you there. Margaret McDonald, a few of the folks there. Linda Culpepper says, stay safe, and we do hope you do. Laura Lee is up. Jane Harding, a few of the folks there. Cody Sullivan. Also, Miss Gail Gafford, how are you doing? She's probably holding court up in Portable about right now. Virginia Cumberland, good morning. Glad to see you there. Also, Connie Johns joins us, and a few other people are up. Georgia Henson, glad to see you there, along with Elizabeth Graham. We love your comments, and we do appreciate you dropping by. Again, we'll go live this morning at 8 o'clock sharp, and let me explain how that works. Right before we go live, we put it on for a 5-minute delay there as we get started for everybody to join. We'll go live with the show beginning at 8, but as we make sure that there's no technical difficulties. I missed one last week. Y'all saw that on Monday. But that's why we do that a little bit. But we go live at 8, We put the feed up 5 minutes before to test everything. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. We'll see you back here in just a little while. Thank y'all for dropping by. We'll see you soon as we get this Wednesday morning, halfway through the week, started. Thanks much. We'll be back very shortly.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: